And I think we had a very productive meeting. Stranger things have happened. Usually a Republican wouldn't get that endorsement. For many, many years, they only do Democrats. But in my case, it's different because I've employed thousands of Teamsters. And I thought we should come over and pay our respects. And as you know, a big part of the voting bloc votes for me, a very big part. Some people say more than 50%. Nobody knows what the exact number is, but some people say more than 50% of the Teamsters vote for me. So we had a very, very productive meeting. I think a poll came out today. It's 88-12. So I don't know. If they want to waste their time, they can do that. That's up to them. It wouldn't have happened if I were in the White House. You would have never had this attack. You would have never had the attack on Israel. You would have never had the attack on Ukraine. You would not have inflation that was, just is destroying our country. Putin would not have attacked, guaranteed, for two reasons. The oil went up so high under Biden that they made money by attacking. But for two reasons. The other reason is he wouldn't have done it against me. He would not have done it. We used to talk about Ukraine. It was the apple of his eye. He would have never done it. And Israel would have never been attacked, And China wouldn't be talking about Taiwan. So all of these things that, it's so sad to see. And now here we go with the Middle East again, dropping bombs all over the place. It would have never happened. Well, I want to bring jobs back to the country. I want to bring jobs back to the United States. We were doing that under the Trump administration at a level like nobody had ever seen. We saved the steel industry. Now U.S. Steel is being bought by Japan. It's so terrible. We will bring back millions of jobs to our country, and we're going to start making our product. And we started that process and did very well with it, and we will finish it up. But right now, a lot of the progress that we made, whether it's on the border, because we had the safest border ever, and now we have the worst border ever, and I mean anywhere. There's never been a border like this ever in the world. And I hope the Republicans don't, and the Democrats don't make a bad border deal, because a bad border deal would be worse than no deal at all. You don't need a deal to tighten up the border and to make it secure. I had the most secure border in history. I didn't have a deal. I didn't have a bill. I said, no people are coming in. No drugs are coming in. We don't want to have human trafficking, which nobody even talks about. That is the number one. You take a look at that border today. Human trafficking is up 114%, they say. 114%. You wouldn't have that. We were working so hard on human trafficking. It's a horrible thing. You think of it as sort of an ancient crime. It's not ancient. Because of the Internet, it's a tremendous money for the people that do it, a tremendous moneymaker. None of that, you would have had none of that. And now you look at what's happening, the numbers are astronomical. And drugs, too. Drugs pouring in through our border. And you have the right to close up your border. You don't need bills that complicate it and make it to a level that nobody's going to be able to do it. And the minimum was 5,000 people a day, if that can be right. It's hard to believe that can be right, but they were negotiating to allow 5,000 people a day. That's a tremendous amount. Nobody wants to have that happen to our country, and they're still not going to know where they're coming from. Last night I watched where they're beating up police officers in New York City, a gang of people that just came in that didn't speak English. Nobody knows who they are, where they come from. And very importantly, they come from, I can tell you, they come from jails and prisons. They come from mental institutions and insane asylums. And they're terrorists. They have a lot of terrorists coming, too. And we don't want them. I'm sorry. I didn't do anything wrong. I mean, that's been proven as far as I'm concerned. And actually, we won in the Court of Appeals. You probably saw that. That case has been largely won in the Court of Appeals. That was a political case coordinated with the White House by the Attorney General, I assume is what you're talking about. And we won that case largely in the Court of Appeals. That's a ridiculous case. That case is a ridiculous case. We're appealing it. She didn't know anything about me. She didn't know when it happened. There was nothing. People are looking at that case. It's a disgrace. We're appealing that case. We had a very hostile judge. We're appealing that case. It's a ridiculous case. I would not give him intelligence briefings because I don't believe he's competent. So I would cancel for him because I don't believe he's competent. If it's not going to solve the border problem, don't do the bill. And that was very important to me. And a lot of people do call me, they respect me, and they say, what do you think? if the bill's not going to be a great bill and really solve the problem, I wouldn't do it at all. Not for political reasons, just for U.S. reasons. Well, I think the UAW made a terrible decision. And by allowing all electric cars, they're all going to be made in China. You're going to have no jobs over here. But I will not allow all electric cars. I'm going to have all kinds of cars because the electric mandate is a disaster. They don't go far enough. They cost too much. We don't have the materials to make them, but China does. And you've heard me say it 100 times. We went, many of you were there, Iowa, where it was 40 degrees below zero on voting night, 40 degrees below zero. And did you notice all those cars pulled over to the side? They were all electric cars. They don't work well in cold weather. That was very cold weather. I just want to say, though, we had an incredible month. We beat in Iowa, knocked out the competition, and got the best vote, percentage-wise, margin-wise, of any candidate that ever ran. And we went to New Hampshire. We got the most votes of anybody that ever ran, and actually the most. That's sort of like a home run record. Who had the most home runs? Who had the most hits? We got the most votes of anybody that ever ran in the New Hampshire primary. So, I mean, we just had an incredible time. We're now focused on Nevada, which is next, and we think we're going to do there, get close to 100% of those votes. And then we have the islands coming up, too, by the way. You know that. Don't forget that. That's for about 4 delegates, but we have that coming up. And then we go to a place that's been very good to me, and I've been very good to them, is South Carolina. I think we're going to do great there. We see a poll today that we're like 40 points up. In fact, we actually went up over the last week or two. So you used to come to D.C. and it was safe and you felt great, and you'd come in from Nebraska, you'd come in from Iowa, you'd come in from different places, and you'd say, wow, this is so beautiful, so safe, so nice. Now you come in and you have a good chance of being shot. They had 3 people killed last week, too. And I know a lot of the police in D.C. I got to know them. They're great. But they're not allowed to do their job. You have to let them do their job. It's a crime fest right now, and we can't have that. Also, physically, graffiti all over the place, garbage all over the roads, medians falling down on the roadways. I mean, when foreign leaders come to this country, they probably look around and they say, this is D.C., the graffiti is horrible. You'll have white columns, beautiful white columns, and you'll have a swastika on the white column. It's got to be, the place has got to be cleaned up, it's got to be made great again, to be very honest with you, because it was something so special. You think about over the years. And frankly, in my term, when I saw tents starting to form in the parks, we took them out. We had to take them out immediately, because once you have, you can take out 2 or 3 when you have 1,000. But you look at what's happening with the homeless in D.C. and probably the migrants, too, because the migrants are coming into D.C. at levels that they've never seen before. We have to make our capital safe, and we have to make it clean and respected and beautiful, and that's part of my plan. And we're going to run it through the federal government, and it's going to be run very tough and very smart and very safe. People are coming here, and they're getting shot. They come here for an evening. I want to see the Lincoln Memorial. I want to see something. I want to see something so beautiful. I want to look at the Capitol building. I want to look at the White House. And they go home in a casket. Not going to happen. We're going to straighten it out. So thank you very much. Thank you. I think they're making a terrible mistake if they vote for the bill. This is a terrible bill. Terrible bill for our country. It's a terrible bill. 5,000 people alone. Don't even look at the rest of the bill. 5,000 people a day coming into our country. This is who's negotiating this bill. Now, it'll be a terrible bill. Thank you all. We'll see you on the trail, right?
How's your hand? It looks like it's better now.
My hand?
Yeah, covered. What happened the other day?
What was wrong with it?
You didn't see the photos?
No.
Trump Tower?
No. What was wrong with them?
The other one. You want to tell us what happened with the hand?
Nothing. Maybe it's AI. I think nothing. I didn't see that. So.